Welcome back. On June 26, 2027, 2025, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed into law four transformative tax reform bills aimed at overhauling Nigeria's complex, fragmented, and inefficient tax regime. The new status, the Nigeria Tax Act, NTA, Administration Act, NTAA, Nigerian Revenue Service Act, NRSA, and Joint Revenue Board Act, JRBA, form the cornerstone of the federal government's medium-term fiscal framework and tax policy agenda. 2023/2026, collectively referred to as the 2025 Tax Reform Act, they are expected to take effect on 1st January 2026. Unless otherwise specified, average Nigerians may not understand the positive or negative effect of these tax reform in the economy and the improvement of citizens' well-being. We have our experts in the studio to throw some light on this new tax reform act. And our guest, Dr. Kennedy Iwundu, who is an immediate past chairman, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Abuja District, is going to have a conversation with us on taxation review in Nigeria. Good evening, Dr. Kennedy.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, so just before we dive into the what this tax review in Nigeria is all about, can you explain to us in detail what tax reform is exactly?
Okay, thank you. The tax reform is all about making sure that there's efficiency in the tax collection, tax administration, and enforcement, and as well as removing the obsolete tax laws and deleting so many tax laws that tend to bring about multiple taxation, and at the same time harmonizing these laws in a way that it be easier for the tax administrators to administer as well as the taxpayers to understand. You know that one of the principles of taxation is simplicity. You have to harmonize their taxes so that it will be very simple for taxpayers to understand the type of tax you are collecting, as well as making the tax administrators make it easier for their administration. Another thing that brings about this reform is also taxation of high net worth individuals. The present Tinubu administration said they don't want to be taxing poverty, so they want to remove small companies from paying taxes. They want to remove low-income people from paying taxes. This goes back to the one of the principles of taxation that is talking about redistribution of income and wealth, where those who are earning higher income are paying more taxes for the benefit of the low income earners and those who have nothing in the society. So the reform is about taxation of high net worth individuals and removing small companies and small income earning individuals from taxation, as well as reforming the Nigerian tax system, ranging from tax legislation, tax administration, and tax jurisprudence.
Okay, okay, doctor. So how will this tax reform impact low income earners and all the people that have nothing to do so far?
I can't hear you. Can you repeat the question?
Okay, I asked how exactly will this tax reform impact the low income earner or even those that are on the street, the vulnerable people?
Okay. You can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. I can hear
Yeah.
you.
In taxes of persons, the new law made it to be taxes of persons. Under the taxes of persons, you have individuals, you have limited liability companies. Under the individuals, the income earners, those who earn up to 1 million and below, have been practically exempted from tax, meaning that if you have a rent relief of about 200,000 plus the first 800,000, that is 0%, is about 1 million. That means those who earn like 1 million in a year, which is about 80 something thousand every month, have been exempted. What we have right now is 30,000 and below. Currently, we have 30,000 and below. If you earn 30,000 and below, you're exempted from paying tax. But with this new tax law, which implementation starts from next year, those who earn about 80 something thousand, maybe 82, 83,000 and below are exempted, practically exempted from paying tax. That's for individuals. Then for companies, companies that have turnover of 50 million in a year are also exempted. But if you have income above 50 million, if the companies have income above 50 million, they'll be expected to pay tax at the profit of 30%. So what government has done is to encourage the growth of small scale businesses. Imagine businesses in Nigeria that will have turnover of 50 million and below from next year will not pay, they will not pay taxes. And that's a good way to promote small scale businesses in the country. Just as well in the individual, to also remove so many people from the income tax, the other by giving them, allowing them to have more money as their disposable income.
Okay, so what measures are being put in place to ensure fairness and equity in this taxation review? Dr. Kennedy, what
Can hear you again?
things are being put in
Yeah.
place? What measures are being put in place in order to project fairness when it comes to taxation? Can you hear me, Dr. Kennedy?
Okay, go ahead now.
Okay, I was asking what measures are being put in place in order to ensure fairness and equity in the tax system?
Yeah, the measures are already in place. The measures are already in place because when you earn higher, you pay higher. Right now, those who earn higher income are going to pay higher. The more you earn higher, the more your income is increasing, the more taxes are going to pay. And the more your income is decreasing, the less the taxes you are going to pay. And if you get certain threshold, as I mentioned, you may not be able to pay tax. So the tax structure is there to make sure that we operate a progressive taxation. Is a progressive taxation in the sense that the higher you earn your income, the higher you pay, and the lower you earn, the lower you pay. And we have done the computation to show that those who earn more income are going to pay more based on the computation we have done on the new personal income tax rates and regime.
Okay, so with this taxation put in place, how is it going to affect small business owners and entrepreneurs as well? I mean, you made
Yeah,
mention that if you are not earning about 50 million naira as your annual income, your total annual income, it means that you're not going to pay tax. So how is this going to help the small business owners actually grow to the point that they can, have a turnover of about 50 million naira and also participate in this taxation?
it's going to help small businesses greatly. It's going to help small businesses tremendously. Remember that before, even if you have 1 million, a company, even if a company have 1 million turnover, that company will pay tax. Even if a company have 2 million turnover, that company will pay tax. But the threshold we're operating today is 25 million. In 2019 Finance Act made it that if you have 25 million and below, the company is exempted from paying tax. Then this new tax law is now saying 50, meaning that from next year, if you are operating and after 1 year, your turnover is up to 50 million and below, 50 million and below, you're also exempted from paying tax. Meaning that small companies are likely to have more money instead of paying government those taxes. And that is exactly what we are saying. So for companies to have 50 million, 49 million, 45 million, 40 million, 30 million, 25 million, and at the end of the year, they did not pay any tax, is a good thing. And it's expected that they will use those profits they have made, the money they are supposed to pay tax, to reinvest into their businesses so that they can grow and grow. And then when they become big and start making income more than 50 million, passing that threshold, they will now start paying tax. So the idea of allowing these companies is to allow them gather more capital that will increase their production, increase their turnover, so that once they pass that threshold of 50 million, they can start paying tax. But however, once they're operating between 50 million and below, around 50 million and below, is expected they won't pay any tax to enable them build up more capital for growth.
Okay, Dr. Kennedy, we understand that the Nigerian minimum wage is about 70,000 naira, and we have people still earning below that. And there are people that have not even started earning the 70,000 naira because they can't even be paid that. So, a situation whereby you have lots of people still earning below the 80,000 naira that you had mentioned already, how are we going to have more people pay their taxes?
Yeah, when people are exempted from paying tax, those that have the income above that threshold will pay heavy taxes. But I want to make it clear now, for you to enjoy that exemption, you must have been working in an organized private sector or in a government agency where your income is very clear, where your payroll can be ascertained. Most people who are doing businesses in the market, we don't know their income. So they are not part of the benefit, except they prove that they earn such income in a year. We have market women, we have businessmen, they sell on daily basis. Nobody can ascertain whether their income is about 80,000 a month or 1 million a year, because some of them don't have good banking records. Their income is not streamlined. There's no data to assess them. So it's easier for those who are working in organized private sector, like yourself, who is receiving salary, for you to be evaluated and assessed in that manner. But for people in the market, people that are doing their private businesses, where it's difficult to get the data of their earning, it will be very difficult to assess them. What the revenue authority will do, if you're a businessman or a businesswoman and you want tax clearance certificate, once you walk into the revenue authority to say you need a tax clearance certificate, they will be asking you to bring your bank statement to find out whether your income is within the threshold that should be exempted. And even when you bring your bank statement, there could even be a doubt whether you are banking all your money as a businessman or you are selling and you are spending your cash without all the money going to the bank. So I want to let you know that most people who are going to benefit from these low income earners are those working in organized private sector, government agencies, where it's easy to ascertain their salaries at the end of the month.
Okay, Dr. Kennedy, this assertion, is it going to be an annual thing? Because, I mean, businesses grow from one stage to the other. So how will you keep assessing the businesses? Is it going to be an annual thing whereby business owners have to come to the bank and have their statement of account and the rest of it attended to?
Here is an annual assessment. It's an annual assessment. For example, by next year, from January to December, it's expected that the companies should produce their bank statements and their financial records. so that in 2027 they will now find out the businesses that have that turnover of 50 million and below and exempt them. Without your financial records, it's difficult for them to ascertain whether you are in that threshold. That's why today, if you file returns in the Federal Revenue Service, they will demand that you bring your bank statement. The bank statement are easier way to find out whether you have reached that threshold or not.
So what is being put in place in order to make sure that there is no form of tax invasion in the future?
Yeah, the tax authorities have right to do investigation. They have the powers to do audit and investigation. They have the power to do review. Remember that the BVN of the directors of the companies are with the tax authorities. So when they do data mining, they can find out all the places they open bank accounts and their transactions can be traced. So they have what it takes to ensure that those who are earning high income should pay their tax. The only worry we have is implementation in terms of political will. Will our government have the political will to ensure that the rich people who are supposed to pay these taxes are paid? Or do we have that a situation where when the revenue authority is knocking at the door, the office of the rich man, he will make a call at the higher level to stop them from doing their job. So we expect that the government, from the president and governors, should have the political will and ensure, irrespective whether it's their friends or associates, pay these taxes. When you make laws and those laws are not properly implemented, then those laws become wishes. So we expect that government should have a political will. Once government have a political will to implement this new tax law, I'll tell you, the revenue will be generated and the objective of this reform will be achieved.
How exactly will these money collected from taxes be used? And are we going to have a platform where it is going to be crystal clear where this money is being put into and what it is being used for, just so the general public doesn't feel robbed?
Yeah, we have what we call tax transparency. Tax transparency. Tax transparency has two legs. One is that the taxpayer should honestly declare his income and pay his taxes. And the other one is that the government that collects these taxes should honestly and transparently use taxpayers' funds and show accountability. Right now, Nigerian public do not trust the government because our government has not shown accountability in the use of taxpayers' funds. It is worse at the state level and local government level. It is worse at state level and local government level. For example, when VAT is collected now, federal government takes only 10%, while 90% goes to the various states and local government of the federation. You can say that only federal government keeps 10% of value-added tax generated. And also a little portion of company income tax, stamp duty is also kept the federal government. The bulk of the money generated goes to states and local government. So Nigerians should begin to ask their governors what they are doing with the money they are getting from federal government. Nigerians should find out what the local government is doing. You know, we have a system where everybody is focusing on the federal government, but time has come. We should ask the governors, what are you doing? It's easier for Nigerians to protest against the federal government, but I hardly see Nigerians protest against their state governors. Their state governors are the ones misusing these funds. Because when this money is generated, the bulk of it goes to the states. So people should change their direction by making sure they ask the state governors what they do with their money. We even expect that there should be a law mandating state governors to publish the revenue they receive on monthly basis and also publish how they spend the money. There's nothing wrong if we have such law. Every month, the states in Nigeria get a federal allocation. They also have internal generated revenue. So the citizen is supposed to know how much is the federal allocated funds to my state, how much is internal generated revenue in my state, what is the total, and what was it used for. So the governors are running the state like heralds. They are running the state like pharaohs. Nobody asks them questions. Most of them are chased away oppositions in their states. So nobody is questioning them. So until we have that accountability at state level, it's only very few states that you can go now, you can say what their governors are doing. Majority of the state, nobody questions the governor what he does with funds. So until we have this level where we begin to question our leaders, especially at the state and local government level, it will be very difficult for us to have this tax money being collected used accountably and transparently.
The sustainability of this particular development, do you think this is something that we can carry on for so long and not something that will just start off and then before it's a year, nobody is talking about it again?
Yeah, once a law is in place, the sustainability is there. Once a law is in place, it is sustained. The only thing that will make the sustainability deeper is the implementation. But again, even if this government cannot implement these laws to later, another government coming may pick it up and implement it. It's good we have the law in place, and let's be talking about implementation. So it is very important that government implement laws. In Nigeria, we have a lot of laws, we have a lot of policies, we have a lot of proposals, we have a lot of framework. But one of the major challenges we have in the country is transparent implementation, honest implementation, effective implementation. This is the challenge you have in the country. So for this policy, for these laws, new laws to be sustained, it must be implemented and implemented at federal, implemented at the state, and also ensure there's accountability so that people will pay more. If you show Nigerians that the money you are collecting from them, you are using it in a transparent manner, Nigerians will pay tax. They are not so difficult to obey the law. But where you are not showing accountability, you're only telling us how you are using 24 billion to put CCTV in a government house. You are telling us how you are using 100 billion to do 1 kilometer road. You are telling us how you are using 200 billion to feed the school children. The Nigerians will now know that this government is not serious. So why should I pay my tax? When I pay it, they will now use it anyhow they want. So we are using this platform to say government at all levels, at federal level, at state level, at local government level, to show accountability so that Nigerians can voluntarily pay their taxes without being forced, without being arrested, without being molested.
Okay, with all this being said, some people, some school of thought have had it in mind or they have voiced their opinion that this taxation review is just another policy implemented so it will enable the APC win the election come 2027. What do you think about this said thing?
No, no, people should remove politics from this taxation. I don't think politics should be used at this point. We are looking at those who are being asked not to pay tax, which is a welcome development. We are looking at companies that will not pay taxes, which is also very commendable. Mind you that I'm not trying to defend the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria or his administration, but mind you that one of the campaign promises President Tinubu made is that once he enters as the president of Nigeria, he's going to reform the Nigerian tax system. Is one of the promises he made during his campaign. When he assumed office, he repeated it that he's going to reform our tax system. He set up the committee to quickly look at our tax laws, reform or remove obsolete laws, harmonize the taxes, and exempt those who are not supposed to pay tax, and also increase taxes for those who are any higher, and also reform the administrative body, the Nigeria Revenue Service, and all the tax administrators in the country, reform them in a way where they can collect this tax effectively and they also manage the tax process. So I don't want to bring in politics into the whole thing. I think it's a fulfillment of campaign promises, and also a way of trying to review, trying to modify, try to reform our tax system, which is very
Okay,
commendable. They
Dr.
did a
Kennedy,
very wonderful
thank you so
job,
much.
and I believe that moving forward,
Okay, Dr. Kennedy, thank you so
Nigerians will
much
appreciate
for
it.
your input on this
It is not
particular
a
subject
destination.
matter. Our
It's
time
still a
is
process. We are not
over.
saying that we've gotten everything completely. The reforms are still going on. So in the future, there will be more reform to also make us do better.
Thank you so much for your input, and that's all we can take on this conversation. When we go on the short break, we'll return and we'll have our news and events.
We are local.
International communities observing
Just finished the game.
When the main market is in chaos, people are...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye.
Aye. We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.